Hello, everyone at Speed Gaming. This is your boy LV Creed here, bringing you one of our final sets. Well, we're getting close to our final sets of our Mega Man 2 Randomizer tournament for this 2024 season for Speed Gaming Live. And on commentary alongside with me, Rico, my good buddy. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Looks like another late night mission we got going here between CrebleStar and Arispici. So, well, I guess late night is a relative term. For those of us in Europe, it would be early morning, perhaps. But all the same, CrebleStar and Arispici are our stars of the show tonight. So we are going to present to you a best-of-3 match between the two. Unfortunately, the result will end up in one of these two runners being eliminated, and it looks like the timer's going for Arispici, so we're about to be underway.
Yep, and one of these two are about to be eliminated. This is our winner semis. Whoever wins this is going to face off. Going to be facing off against, if I didn't know better, yes, Casual Tom in the winners, in the actual winner semis. So a lot is at stake. Our top four will be determined by the winner of this match.
Looks like CrebleStar's looking around, finding what stages are what, or just hitting a bad set of stages and just deciding that option 2, let's hit the reset button, and interesting strategy from Kreble. Little note to self, ask if that was intentional or not.
Well, you don't want to have a bad stage to start off with. I think Ari also found Heatman at the start and did a little bit of resetting himself. So finding Quickman as a much more suitable start, but finding his starting much sooner than Kreble, who had to do that little digging around before finally settling in Flash.
Yeah, I think I saw 3, maybe 4 resets, so Kreble knows where all of the inconvenient stages are. Arispici getting lucky with the second reset and choosing wisely. So, let's see, no, CrebleStar dropped down. I was wondering if he was going to go for that E-Tank, and it looks like he's just going for it.
Yep, so right now we're going to have CrebleStar to see who is our first. Well, both our runners about to see their respective Robot Masters in their respective rooms, but our first glimpse is going to be in Flash, where we do get a bubble. Bubble not particularly settable to the Buster, just going to go head up. Meanwhile, we got a very slow moving dumb crash that is very much weak to the Buster. And both our runners just taking care of business, getting their first set of Robot Masters done.
Wow. Just showing up and collecting a paycheck for, wow. Okay, I wish I could just kind of show up, and that'd be almost a free fight in the boss 3 fights as well, so that's a nice little find, but I don't believe we have any items as CrebleStar into Crash and not... Yeah, no zip, so it looks like elevators for Kreble, Arispici, and Airman stage. Not exactly flying the friendly skies, but it doesn't look like any delays so far in the flight pattern for Arispici.
Yeah, CrebleStar not being familiar with the Buster pause zipping or the ladder setup for said zip in Crashman stage, opting to just go ahead and take care of the moving platform screens. It takes longer, but fortunately the enemy set has been very kind, so Kreble is having free reign of these sections, but unfortunately that's still time being tacked off, and if Ari winds up finding an item, a workable item, before coming to this spot, that's going to be time that Kreble's going to wish he hadn't lost.
Yeah, it could be that, you know, Arispici ends up in Crashman and doesn't have an item, so there won't be much of a loss. But it is a race at the end of the day, so we'll see where, if CrebleStar ends up, you know, tripping over a hurdle because of that, or Arispici gets through just fine.
We got a Sonic finding in Airman's room. Our modified Airman, Quickman here, taking care of that stage with Quickman being pretty quick to be destroyed on the Buster. And speak of the devil, look what we just brought up.
Alright, so there's this thing that some say is a commentator's curse. I just provide spoilers, that's all.
Looks like Ari's going to take the chance for this pause setup for this particular Buster style zip for Crash. It's a relatively recent zip, but is he positioned good enough for this? Yeah, I didn't think he was. He needs to be a little bit closer to the wall so he can wedge himself into it and then do an A trigger to jump and eventually get into zipping state. Meanwhile, we got Creble actually in Crashman's room, finding a flash analog. Very easy to be picked off. And once again, on 3 for trouble. Something that you probably would have liked to have for the crash climb, but it can still be useful in other areas.
Alright, so this is going to be problematic for Arispici if he misses this particular attempt at the zip. He's been at this for a little bit. And there's the risk-reward versus, you know, can you get in there? Oh, alright, looks like he got it this time.
No, he didn't. He messed up the trigger in order to get in. So yeah, this is starting to look like a very severe time loss, as Ari's gonna continue to try this attempt at least one more time. So the time save that he probably would have had if he successfully did this zip winds up is being completely faded away as he fails yet again.
Yeah, we can see the reaction on his face cam that I believe is down in the bottom corner. I don't know if they can see it as the viewers, but CrebleStar on low HP, so definitely don't want to take an L on getting randomly sniped, but I think at a checkpoint, so should be okay. But Arispici losing a lot of time. Oh no, CrebleStar taking the L. But Arispici losing a lot of time on trying those zips and not pulling it off. So it ended up being a net gain for CrebleStar, just going through, not trying the zip.
Yeah, it's a situation that some of us like to call living by the zip and dying by the zip. There's got to be a point where you got to just realize that things are just not going your way for the attempt. You got to move on and make the net and put a minimum cap on the net loss that you get by missing the zips. Unfortunately, Ari did several too many and probably winds up falling way behind, and the death is not going to help things on Ari's end. Fortunately made it to a checkpoint, but that's still not going to probably feel good on Ari's confidence right now.
No, you never want to see that, but, you know, there's a point at which you go, okay, I just got to get through, you know, you throw your arms up and just say, all right, you know, out with the bad, in with the good. And I believe, speaking of good, we saw CrebleStar pick up an item too. So Arispici, I'm pretty sure, just wants to be done and dusted with this particular stage now, into the crash climb as Creble into Bubble Man.
Yep, defeating Airman that was in Metal Man's room, making use of the conveyor, since the conveyors take priority over the blowing mechanic that Airman usually likes to do when shooting the air shooters. So just pretty much made that fight a perpetual cakewalk, as mentioned before, going through Bubble Man now, and pretty sure it's gonna go for the pause buffer zip onto the ceiling here. And yeah, one of the more basic and easier zips to pull off, but you gotta make sure that all your pauses are well timed so you can actually put yourself into the ceiling. And there you go, CrebleStar with a textbook zip.
Yeah, Arispici with a fairly straightforward fight as well, so that's going to reward item 3 for Arispici. Oh, Woodman, alright, so Item 3 should allow the use of a zip into Woodman's stage. We'll see if CrebleStar is able to do the same.
Well, of course, you guys see one, if he's able to try to pull it off. Of course, the attempted Goodwood is tough enough on his own, but you also got to consider that the enemy set could be kind of prohibitive on that zip depending on how it goes. And right now, the enemy set appears to be kind, so Goodwood possibly could be attempted. We still got to see the enemy set after the checkpoint to see if it's truly feasible. But meanwhile, we had Metal Man in Bubble Man's room, which was pretty much a no-show. Salvi to the Buster just went down in an instant. CrebleStar with 4 stages down, going to Quickman stage that we saw on Arispici in just a few moments ago.
Maybe payday at the castle. Everybody's stopping in to get their paycheck and not much else. It looks like Arispici trying to set up. And it looks like so far so good. So Arispici able to set up the zip.
Yeah, so the emphasis of Goodwood is that you pretty much got to set up a whole bunch of a couple of vertical wraps to the top of the screen to the point where you're able to wrap around and get to a point where you can just walk a few screens, but you got to be sure to memorize where each of the platforms are because you're pretty much walking the area blind. Oh, did Ari make it? Did he go over? Ooh, fortunately,
looks like it.
Yeah, he was able to be right at the right death point. If he went a little too far, he would actually death warp to Wally Stage 3, where unfortunately is glitched out and uncompletable.
Oh, that'd be neat if you could just, well, forget about these Robot Masters. Let me just warp into Wily. But we find item 1, so... But I guess with the way the mechanics of the game are set, that none of the monsters or the boss would bother showing up, so... Oh, yeah, it would be a soft lock to the game, wouldn't it?
Yes it would. Very, very counterintuitive for trying to win a race.
Very much so.
Meanwhile, Ari finding that item 1 is actually pretty solid, able to get to the Metal Man zip pretty cleanly, while saving a little bit of time compared to CrebleStar in that regard, since he didn't have item 1 coming into his attempt in Metal Man stage. So every little bit helps, but Ari still gotta have a little bit of extra juice in the can, because I'm pretty sure that Ari's at a significant disadvantage after trying to deal with Crashman stage.
Yeah, the Crashman stage was definitely a little bit of a whoopsie-doo, just not able to execute on the zip. But the good thing going, in theory at least, is that Arispici's gone through the Goodwood zip. And we'll see right now. Well, Kreble's going for it. Oh, okay, yeah, check the room first. Okay. Now we'll see if Kreble is able to consolidate this advantage by also following through and getting that Goodwood zip.
But CrebleStar definitely has done runs of Mega Man 2 in the past in a percent, so I'm pretty sure CrebleStar is capable of doing this Goodwood properly, but it doesn't have the easier means to set up the zips. Doing the Buster variant, not having quick boomerang for the easiest possible setup, took a little bit of time, but still able to set himself up to continue the Goodwood zip in just a few moments. Make sure it's high enough, and there you go. Goodwood achieved. CrebleStar matching Arispici for zip for zip. The advantage gained from Ari doing Goodwood practically negated.
It looks like Ari's going for a Heatman zip, but this item 1 looks a little suspect to me. It looks like not really able to stay on the screen long enough to get where you need to go.
Yeah, honestly, I think the setup was a little bad for Ari, but unfortunately, it's not looking pretty good in terms of enemy setup. The literal Joe Kino makes his appearance where every Joe variant under the sun is pretty much just trying to block Ari's path. Using Atomic Fire, which is supercharged, instant full charge, trying to make light of a very precarious situation. Just gotta make sure he makes it to the checkpoint before he winds up losing everything. And he does. So, should be trying for the item 3 variant of the Heat Zep. So, should be placing himself into the ceiling proper. Jump trigger, and there you go. On his way. But once again, he can probably only take one decent hit from an enemy unless it's a shot, well, not your nor CrebleStar, who unfortunately takes a little bit of a dive.
Yeah, not quite the friendly skies for CrebleStar, unfortunately. So, not what you ever want to see is anybody taking a death. Was on the second part of Airman, so definitely recoverable. Just one of those things where you jump up into a cloud and unexpected enemy hiding and waiting for you.
Ari wisely taking the E-Tank, but I think at this point he might... Oh, CrebleStar taking another fall. And yeah, I saw the life situation. He did have no lives left. And this is kind of what the doctor ordered for Ari. Something to keep CrebleStar a little bit at bay to match the town blocks on Ari's end dealing with Crashman a while back. So things are starting to get a little interesting.
Yeah, definitely a bit of an equalizer there. A lot of the time that Arispici likely may have left on the table, CrebleStar similarly did the same. So one may even say Arispici is ahead at this point. Both have 6 Robot Masters done.
True, but we really can't say until we reach the Wily stages. But Ari definitely has the shorter stages to deal with compared to Crabble, who needs to finish Air and still has a Heatman that needs to be done. So right now it's still a bit of a coin flip. We're gonna have to see what happens when both our runners reach the Wily stages.
Well, that's the thing. I'm kind of doing the math in my head. You know, Air and Heat doesn't really add up to, you know, the time that one would use on Bubble and Flash. Oh, no.
Well, that ain't gonna help things much.
No.
So with that death, I think we can even more safely assume that Ari is a bit ahead. And finding a pretty solid weakness for Bubble in the Metal Blades, taking them out with relative ease, and pretty much on his last Robot Master right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of rooting for CrebleStar here just to get through this stage. It looks like everything that has gone wrong is just hitting all at the same time. And Kreble just has to be patient there, not getting tin-canned right at the end of the stage like last time. But here we go, at the boss door at least. So CrebleStar gonna take on the 7th Robot Master here, while Arispici's just starting his last stage before the castle.
A very easy quick man game picked off by Kreble. He's finally out of that pretty dreadful air, but winds up getting right into the frying pan with Heatman and the Joe Kano that's about to be a very significant impediment on CrebleStar's path.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Kreble deals with it. I don't believe he has any E-Tanks either, which is not going to make this a very... Oh, he does have one. And it looks like he's trying to dig for items. Let's see, what will we find here? Quick boomerang? Seems to get the armors out of the way, at least.
Yeah, Quick Boomerang is doing the job. Yeah, Quick Boomerang seems to be what's needed to get by this variable Joe gauntlet. Meanwhile, Ari, once again, taking out a very Buster Spongy Metal Man, and we got our first player into our Abobo stages.
Oh, well, there's a problem. That's not Dr. Wily. That's, Dr. Abobo? Do we even call him a doctor? The doctor of thugonomics?
I thought that was a different wrestler that had that kind of nickname, but, you know, we'll work with it. But regardless of the matter, we have already our first runner into our in-game stages, and since we have that, naturally, it's that time that we gotta do. We like a game, we like to play. Is once again, we got a dragon that needs to be guessed. We got a weakness, a color, and a particular sprite. For those that aren't familiar with the sprite variations of the dragon, there are 6 variations. Of course, you got our vanilla. We got 2 pairs of shades dragons. One that looks like it's from the 80s, and one that's pretty much looks like anime shades. Think Gurren Lagann or Squirtle Squad, depending on your reference. We got our pure swag dragon, our oats dragon, and our unicorn horn dragon, our dragoncorn as we like to call it. So we're already halfway done. I guess I better go ahead and get to guessing. And we're gonna go with a true blue dragon. I always gotta do it at least once. So blue dragon, Buster Week, and let's get it swagging. We're gonna have a pure swag dragon.
Alright, so let's do the yellow Oats Dragon with the Bubble Wed. So, CrebleStar, seeing the not quite best eyebrows in gaming, as Abobo is certainly flying off to the, what is that, Proto-Man's castle there? That looks like a Proto-Man statue there at the top.
Well, I was almost there, but it is our Oats Dragon, and with our full Barney Purple, starting the weakness dig, it's definitely not anything in the second page. Ooh, Bubblehead was not gonna get it done.
No, not at all. Is that the Buster that's getting it done?
Yep, at least I got something. Buster doing the dirty deed on the dragon, definitely good for ammo management. We're gonna see if CrebleStar is able to find it, but Creble has to get there first. Gotta take care of those M554s that gave him quite a bit of trouble back at Airman stage.
Oh, interesting. Creble actually stopped to pick up the 1-up. I saw that he took a death against Heatman. I think he just didn't want to use the E-Tank, but somewhere in this equation, well, he's got 2 lives left, so hopefully he's able to get somewhere out of this. Oh, we found our wall weakness on Arispici's side.
What was the weakness? I had to look away for a bit.
It looked like the boomerang, but I believe the viewers in chat might be a little more astute. I was trying to watch CrebleStar's screen, and I happened to notice where Arispici was. So, let's see. Creble's gonna take on the dragon here. Arispici's about to do the drop.
We got the Pico units on site. Well, not quite on site. We got our Vanishing Picos. But the thing about this variant of the Pico units is that it still follows the patterns of the vanilla units. So if you know where they are, if you know where to set up, it shouldn't be too hard to follow it, unless you're in a situation like Ari, you kind of lost them. They still do a ton of damage, so losing position of any of these flying toasters can be a pretty devastating situation.
So you're trying to say getting bodied by, yeah, we're going to see an E-Tank here from Arispici, because another random hit would have done them in. And it looks like that the quick boomerang there, just to finish them off. Like ammo might have been an issue, as Arispici opting out of the Metal Blade.
Yeah, the Metal Blade, while doing the damage, is easily versatile, still unfortunately was not doing too much in terms of ammo. So yeah, for the Pico units, you definitely want something that is more ammo manageable, and that metal wasn't necessarily it. And also, I finally got a better look of the wall weakness, since CrebleStar was checking it as well. It's air shooter that looked like to be the wall weakness, so that's info that both our runners should have for dealing with boo beams, since the walls and the boo beam turrets themselves have separate weaknesses.
Yeah, that's going to be convenient knowledge for both of our runners. They will have that advantage knowing, okay, at least the air shooter's off the table for being able to snipe the turrets at the end, the boo beam turrets. So one thing to keep note of is that whatever the wall weakness is will not be the boo beam turret weakness. It's not possible to have them both.
And we got a guest sighting on the Gus tank fight. Looks like Bowser wants to make a little bit of appearance, trying to stop Roll here from progressing through Wally 3, but a supercharged atomic fire to the face winds up doing the job, as Ari takes care of business and begins going to Wally 4. Meanwhile, Creble getting low on metal ammo, probably gonna need to consider changing. Yep, running out, gonna have to find another weakness, hopefully before he winds up getting picked off by the not quite visible Pico unit.
Yeah, he just got the bad news there. It looks like, oh wait, no, that worked. That was a bubble lead shot, I believe, that finished off the last one. But CrebleStar, unfortunately, just losing a lot of time when the Metal Blade ammo ran out, and Arispici trying to just avoid the whole platform section and pulls it off.
So Wally Stage 4, which can be an equalizer sometimes. We're about to see if it's something to bring anxiety, or will it be rest? Oh! Yeah, I would like to say that's anxiety-inducing for those that aren't prepared.
Yeah, that's definitely some SpaghettiOs there for Arispici, and we'll see if Creble, once he gets to these rooms, is able to survive as well. The fan fiend's never a fan favorite showing up in these rooms. Oh, Arispici able to make it back.
Unfortunately, CrebleStar did wind up taking a death in Wally Stage 3, putting them further back a bit. So CrebleStar once again gotta make up for lost time. Ari making a smart decision, knowing that the fans only blow towards the left, taking the bottom one out. Metal Blade doing a one-shot kill, and winds up doing good old item usage to negate using the platforms. So just a few screens more, and we got gonna see how the boo beam turret is gonna fare for Ari.
Alright, so we have the Metal Blade, and we have Leaf Shield as possible god weaknesses, and it looks like Arispici tried to do the leaf shield real quick. Looks like it's inverted one way. I'm not sure if that hit the turret or if it bounced off the wall or... But it looks like... Oh yeah, you can probably 2-for-1 sail these walls here, but yeah, there we go. Arispici got the walls out of there, not the Buster. Charged Heat, the solution for everything? Well, it looks like Bubble Lead?
Yeah, when bubbles aren't going to be dragon weaknesses, it can definitely be useful for boobing turrets.
Yeah, certainly looks to be the case here, so... Arispici getting it done as CrebleStar just at the start of Wily 4, a couple screens in. So Arispici with a pretty significant advantage going into the refights.
Yeah, pretty much needs a full-blown disaster at this point for Ari to lose this one. Once again, we're not wishing these things on our runners, but we gotta call things as they are, and at this point Ari's lead is significant enough that something short of a catastrophe is needed for CrebleStar to catch up.
Yeah, there's definitely short time for Arispici to, basically, has to miscalculate something. Dare I say it is Arispici's race to lose, that they really just have to stay clean at this point. I don't see Kreble being able to magic something together that would close this gap.
Yeah, Ari is about halfway done with the Robot Masters. Airman getting a little bit stalling Ari a little bit, but nowhere near enough to cause anything significant. Meanwhile, Crashman is just happy to be a part of the party.
Yeah, he was along for the ride today. He can say he got there, has the t-shirt, moving on to game 2 for him. But Arispici's on the finish number 7, now into number 8. So this will be the last Robot Master for Arispici, and CrebleStar just starting. So let's see. Yep, we remembered the air wall weakness, so now we just need to find the bubble lead. Nope, not the quick boomerang. There it is, found it.
Probably found it relatively quicker than Ari, but once again, still not quite enough to bridge the gap, as Ari has finished the final Robot Master and now about to take on our Walla Machine. Will it be Buster Week, or will he just assume that it's not and just find a weapon and just stick with it? Well, we know that it's definitely not Buster Week, so the dig continues. It looks like it's Air Shooter for the first phase.
Oh no, Arispici just taking the L against the machine. Oh, he does have an air tank left, or E-tank, excuse me. So I guess waiting to hold on to it, just kind of out on a scouting mission on that first round. Of course, Arispici doesn't know that he's ahead. We do, but that might get Arispici to panic a little bit, thinking that, well, that may have been the difference. We could have been head-to-head with each other, but looks like Air Shooter solving both elements of the Wily Machine, and we're into Victory Road as CrebleStar is starting the 5th monster, or the 5th refight, and it looks like Airman's just kind of going, okay, you're behind far enough, I'll just let you blow me away.
Probably the big thing to note is, I think that because of that fight, Ari's Air Shooter is low. If the alien is beat to the Air Shooter, there could be time that might cause Ari a little bit of issues, and definitely a panic mode since you're close to the end, but we have our final alien sighting in our face. Well, a capsule this time around, so the weakness hunt begins. It's only one weakness and one weakness only. You're definitely hoping it's not Air Shooter.
Yeah, that would definitely be the great equalizer for Arispici, because then they'll have to take a death and hope that it all goes quick enough. Oh boy, it is the air shooter.
I don't
Wouldn't
think he
you
has
know it?
enough.
Well, we'll see. No, he's got one shot left and he's got to land two. Oh no! Yeah, it takes the L. So, Arispici. Oh, and a game over on top of that. So, not the worst that could happen because we're just right back to the beginning of Victory Lane here. So, CrebleStar still at the Wily machine and precariously low as well. CrebleStar is going to have the same problem that Arispici did. We're going to use the air shooter. Oh, CrebleStar took a death as well. So
He had no E-tanks. He had to take it. So whatever situation that might have caught him up, that might have been the death knell that pretty much spelled Kreble's doom. As Ari, thanks to the game over, fresh set of air shooters, the knowledge in hand, about to finish off Dr. Wily and take game one.
yeah, everything was lined up so that a perfect world could have existed for the epic last-second comeback, but unfortunately for Kreble, that Wily machine just a little too much as Arispici wins game one.
Incredible, making a heads-up play, getting the air shooters. Normally, it probably would have been questionable since you'd be wasting time trying to get extra energy. But in this case, it definitely wound up being a very smart decision. It's just unfortunate that his health situation pretty much was at its worst, right when he needed it the most.
Yeah, that's really what this first race was decided by, wasn't it? Just a little bit more unfortunate occurrences for CrebleStar as opposed to Arispici. We thought Kreble was ahead, then that Airman stage happened. Arispici took the lead, the game tried to conspire to bring him back. But CrebleStar, unfortunately, not able to equalize, as both of our runners are now finished.
With the official times, we got RE finishing in first place with a race time, .GG time of 35 minutes and 2 seconds. Treble second in 36:17. Very close race in spite of some kind of complications on both sides, but still a relatively well-raced match between our two runners as we're about to begin match 2 coming up. So sit back, hang tight, we'll get that set up shortly. And we are back. Welcome everyone. This is your boy LV Cree here alongside Frico, bringing you the Mega Man 2 Randomizer Tournament for this 2024 season for Speedgaming Live, at least on the online variant. As we just witnessed, Arispici clutching out a bit of a tight one, making a little less mistakes compared to CrebleStar, winning game 1, but we do have a match 2, and CrebleStar is looking to try to amend those mistakes and try to make this a full 3-way ride. So Frico, how do you feel about how things are going right now?
Well, I'd like to see things a little cleaner. You know, it looks like the nerves might have gotten to both of our runners in game 1 there, but as you said, Arispici was able to pull it out and is one game away from moving on into what I believe may be the losers bracket finals to then take on the grand finals, and you'd have a better idea of who's waiting for the winner of this match and eventually in the grand final.
And we got the green. Both our runners are set and going, and right now we got a little bit of similarities here. Both our runners finding Bubble Man right off the gate, so no reset shenanigans, with some pretty fitting music, might I add. Shoutouts to X2 Bubble Crab.
Yeah, who would have thought? Bubble music and Bubble Man stage.
So, since we haven't talked about all that much, considering the format of this Randomizer tournament, as you can see, is stages hidden. All the names of the Robot Masters are hidden in the stage select screens, so they do not know where they are going when they select a Robot Master, which is why you saw a whole bunch of resets between our runners when they saw bad stages in race 1. And also, as you can see, as from both our runners, zips are indeed allowed. This is any percent rules, so any and all zips are legal, so there would be no penalty for what would have been quote-unquote illegal zips. So
well,
right
it looks
now,
like, oh no, Arispici getting popped like a balloon, but it didn't look like either runner actually took advantage of the zip. I saw both of them in this segment right here.
but both of them did execute the bubble zip. It's just Arispici probably got a little bit trigger happy on the jump button, wound up taking an unfortunate hit on the spikes, and wound up putting them way back. Meanwhile, CrebleStar taking out, looks like Crashman in Bowman's room. And we do have item 3 found in the stage, so that's one of our items already taken care of between our runners. Unfortunately, CrebleStar finds Heatman a little bit too early. It can make use of that item 3 to make for the longer zip at the checkpoint, but it's gonna have to be forced to do those Yokus. We're gonna see what happens in Arispici's case after taking care of this crash, to see which stage he's going, and to see if item 3 is gonna be a notable deterrent in trying to get through the stage.
Well, that was a close one from Arispici, so item 3 on the menu, but the spot right at the end where you could zip with item 3 might be there, and it looks like Arispici into Airman stage, so another stage that's not going to be very palatable for our runners. CrebleStar having a little problem with the item 3, so right here, able to dodge the prop tops. Yeah, just barely.
And he doesn't quite have the energy to try to go for it again. Just could not get the setup properly. The prop tops are the kind of enemies that are pretty much going to be highly aggressive and aimed towards your body. So it was just an unfortunate enemy setup for Creble, as yeah, the prop tops just weren't having it this seed.
Yeah, it looks like Kreble trying to find something to help, and whatever he's got, not doing it.
Yeah, Protoss look like they're Crash Bomber immune. Crash Bomber definitely probably would have been a helpful weapon, but the Protoss said no to that, and looks like Krebs is gonna have to use the good old trusty Sauron to try to deal with this nonsense. As meanwhile, Ari just getting into Woodman's fight in Airman's room, doing a little bit of a false start leaf shield, but nothing that Ari can't handle, and Airman stays down. Once again, getting that early advantage while CrebleStar is kind of suffering here in this perpetual top oven.
Yeah, just a little early with the timing. Oh, missed a potential item pickup. Alright, gonna zip through here? Yeah. Oh no!
And this is something, yeah, CrebleStar is definitely not in the best of ways. And yep, hightailed it quickly out of Heatman stage to try to make up some time of that later. But inadvertently just wound up being on Arispici's heels. Unfortunately, being on the heels, one Robot Master behind.
Yeah, this hallway is... yikes. Arispici made it through with, as you can see, what was 2 pixels of energy left, but unfortunately taking a death, so no lives left for Arispici here. Living on the edge for Arispici, another death will be a game over. CrebleStar, unfortunately, with having so much trouble in the Heatman stage, Arispici able to get a second stage completed. CrebleStar only one so far.
Ari making use of the item 2 to fly over most of Metal Man stage, pardon, and eventually get into the boss room. About to see what Robot Master is there. Meanwhile, this area is just literally Joe Palooza. Just Joe's everywhere. This is Joe's factory. Joe owns the place, but it's being managed by Quickman, who's not that much of a pushover, getting Ari a little bit flustered, but eventually winds up getting dealt with. No items,
No.
but still, once again, that one Robot Master advantage compared to CrebleStar, who hopefully can try to keep up, taking out Quickman himself.
Yeah, so hopefully Kreble gets this done. And it looks like he's hunting. I think he's pretty well aware that he's behind at this point. But he's got to watch it that he doesn't just randomly get bodied here. Alright, he's able to get through.
Yeah, coming a little close, trying to get a shortcut with the Crash Bombs, but the Crash Bombs weren't doing anything. So wound up narrowly escaping the entire stage through the skin of his teeth. Finds Quickman stage, the assumably simpler stage in comparison, but we're gonna see what the randomizer says about that. As Ari's already halfway done through Flashman stage, which is just as equally as short of a stage.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to something's got to give on Arispici's side of things. Just to make up for the absolute struggle that CrebleStar endured in that Heatman stage. So Arispici does have item 2, so a little bit of an inherent advantage of hitting the Heatman stage later and having more items to potentially deal with it.
Yeah, item 3 and item 2 in hand. Well, hang on. Right now, I was about to say, if Airman was able to get one extra jump. He does have a water hitbox. I wouldn't think Ari would have been able to take another full body hit, and that's something that definitely could have helped CrebleStar get back in it. But Ari was able to finish the job. Airman being soft weak to the Buster. We see him now in Heatman stage with at least the minimum amount of items to make this stage as fast as possible.
Well, now it's just going to be a question of execution. Is Arispici able to get through this stage a little cleaner than we saw CrebleStar? It looked like he really hit the panic button once he lost the item 3 later on in the stage.
Yeah, we're about to find out in a few moments. And Ari also doesn't have a life to his name, so if he wants a game over in here, once again, it's time that Treble can get back.
These crop tops are just being so annoying right now.
Yeah, I think this is, if you want to do an item 3 step, this is definitely the worst enemy you would like to see in this particular room, and he cannot take another prop top hit, and I don't think he had any tanks to spare. So yeah, he had to take it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Arispici, you know, the only good thing there is that he took the L a lot quicker than CrebleStar did. It was a real struggle on CrebleStar's side in that Heatman stage, and he's going to have to go back in, but hopefully a lot later with more items in tow.
Well, Ari's gonna make a second attempt at this stage. Hopefully, maybe position the item 3 in a little bit of position where the prop tops, if he has to take damage, will be in a little bit in a safer spot so he can set up for the zip that normally would need item 3 to activate it. But for right now, it looks like the Proctops are public enemy number 1 in this stage, and Ari's just feeling the beat down right at this moment.
Wow, this is just yikes. Arispici just getting ground down. Oh, Arispici does have an E-Tank, so choosing not to use it and take the game over here. But it looks like a little more patient with the jumping section. And right when I say that, gets bonked by a prop top. So CrebleStar into Crash. So this is where Kreble's going to need to make up a little bit of ground, as Arispici not quite able to get that item 3 set up properly. And you can see it that he's kind of jumping up and down. He knew it. He was so close, but unfortunately just pixels away from getting the proper setup.
And at this point, I don't think you can be greedy with that E-Tank, considering how the Protoss have been making our runners full-on punching bags. Yeah, trying to withhold that E-Tank right now seems like a very big mistake. It's something that we runners, our random runners, kind of get ourselves a little bit fixated on, that we kind of want to save our E-Tanks or hold on to E-Tanks, thinking that we can get by this, not necessarily unscathed, but at a point where we can at least survive. And it's that kind of mentality that winds up putting us in a pretty decent state of hubris.
Oh no. Oh, Arispici is able to get on that platform. Yeah, it's always the debate of, you know, okay, I have an E-Tank, but it's still early-ish. And it comes down to the age-old question of, alright, do I use the E-Tank now, where I kinda need it, or am I gonna hit a situation where I'm up against, say, the Wily machine later on, and you go, you know, that E-Tank that I used in Heatman, I'd really love to have that right now.
Yep, the constant debate that plagued many a Mega Man runner across the generations. When to use it, when not to use it. it's hard to say if it's a good decision or not, but when you lose a life and get a game over, you kind of wind up debating that thought in your head over and over again. But regardless of the situation, Ari has eventually and finally gotten the best of Heatman stage, finding Flash, so very easy boss for that stage. A little bit of a reprieve from that nightmarish setup. And
Alright, so I think item 1 is somewhere in Woodman or Crashman, so CrebleStar might be able to pick up item 1 here. Otherwise, Arispici will get it in the Crashman stage.
Ari taking a strategic
Or
death,
excuse me,
knowing
no,
that
it'll be Woodman. Sorry. Oh, there it is. Found it. Nice.
Yeah, Ari taking a strategic death, knowing that he was on 0 lives, opting to take the game over and try to restart this all over again. Gonna try for the Buster variant of this zip here. He was unfortunate and failed it several times the first seed, and it looks like once again he's just not getting the trigger set up for it properly. He's gonna probably try a few more times, but I think at this point you probably want to do it once more and get moving. If you wind up getting to a state where you're trying to force this skip, you're gonna wind up losing more time than you possibly gain. And you can see on Ari's face the disgust of not getting it when you know that you're capable of doing it.
Yeah, this is just unfortunate, and you know, little does Arispici know that this is playing toward letting CrebleStar, in effect, back into things here, as it looks like we're going for Goodwood, and CrebleStar opted out at the very last second and went, wait a second, let me check the enemy room here, as now we're going for Goodwood on CrebleStar's side. So hopefully something about to go right for CrebleStar to build some momentum to go on in the second half of this particular game of the match. Hopefully we can ride this momentum all the way to a potential game 3 by taking this one down. But still, a little bit of work to do for both of our runners.
Ari does have item 3 to make this crash come a little faster. Treble did not have item 3 at this point, so there is a little bit of that time back. But CrebleStar has successfully gotten Goodwood, so whatever advantage item 3 would have had at that point, easily negated by executing Goodwood, as we find our blobified Heatman. Looks like, yep, softly to the Buster, which is very fortunate. You do not want a 14-hit, very slow slog fight of a Heatman battle in your pocket. So once again, just a little bit of unfortunate luck on the rando in terms of damage in that fight, as Creble winds up going to Airman now.
Alright, so I believe Airman's gonna get our item 2 for CrebleStar, so that will be of pretty tantamount importance, because everything really boils down to going back into that Heatman stage.
Metal Man taking down on Ari's end. You're about to get that item 1. Knowing that his situation is pretty dire, considering how. Actually, I want to know who had the worst Heatman. Well, honestly, yeah, I could say Ari definitely had the worst Heatman, because he wound up going back in and wound up game overing again, compared to Treble, who also had it just as bad, but knew when the getting was good, and it wound up benefiting CrebleStar, as he currently has the advantage in terms of Robot Masters done, with Heatman still looming.
Not so fast, because Creble does have to go back in there. He's definitely going to be more well prepared with pretty much every weapon and item at his disposal, but he's still got to get through that section, which we saw cause both runners so far no end of fits.
Well, right now, it still stands the fact that CrebleStar has the advantage now having several Robot Masters down. About to go back into that dreadful heat, man, that, as we've been saying throughout this seed, been plaguing our runners quite a bit. So right now, it's good to see, can CrebleStar get the stuff, get the... Ooh, well, that's not gonna help getting
I
the...
think you're supposed to hit the jump button there. Oopsie.
Yeah, you gotta get... The stage cannot get into your head at this point. So Treble, he needs to get his head right back in the game and try to navigate this heat, man. Meanwhile, Ari, having now to deal with this Bowman, has a Woodman left. And Woodman, depending on if he goes for good wood or not, is potentially easier compared to what we see in this Heatman stage. So it's gonna be up. Well, I'm gonna speak the obvious, but it's definitely gonna be up to our runners to try to make the mental adjustments and try to deal with whatever is going to be happening in their respective stages.
Wow! Oh, that's a gift for CrebleStar. Getting the item 3 to actually just get out of there. So it looks like we're gonna fly the friendly skies and navigate the chasm in the Heatman stage. So CrebleStar able to make the... Wait a second. Did I just see what I thought I saw on Arispici's side?
I did not catch it. I was full on worried about CrebleStar there. Of course, naturally, he got the focus.
I thought I saw like Shadow Man or something in the enemy sprites for the early part of Woodman.
No, I'm pretty sure that's not the case. If it was a rabbit of some kind, it'd probably be leaning closer to Metal Man in terms of sprite design. But that's neither here nor there anymore. As once again, we got our first runner into... This time we got Cossack kicking Obobo out of the first castle, now making it his castle. So once again, our first runner into our end game. So once again, we like for you to play a little game with us. We got a Mecha Dragon that we like for you to guess. We got a weakness, we got a color, and a design for the sprite of the Mecha Dragon that we like for you to guess. So I already made my guesses first. In the first seed.
Oh, now I gotta go first. Alright, so...
It's the rules.
Alright, so I hit on the Oats Dragon, so it can't be the Oats Dragon this time. I think it's gonna be the Swaggin' Dragon this time around. I'm still liking my color, and I'm still liking the Bubble Lead, because it's always the Bubble Lead until it's not.
Well,
and for the record, that's yellow.
Good to know. Anyway, I'm gonna be going with, let's see, we're gonna go with our Sage Dragon, our 80 Sage Dragon, which is gonna be weak to Air Shooter, and it's gonna be a Gray Dragon, mostly grays.
Alright, well, Kreble's on his way up, so Arispici on his way in, Kreble on his way up, so about a minute between the two right now. So, you know, just something to compare by, and it looks like Kreble not holding back the item 1 usage on the climb up to see the dragon either. So, we have ourselves a race here, and it looks like if things stay as they are, we might have ourselves a game 3.
Yeah, but the dragon has been a bane for some of our runners. We're gonna see if CrebleStar can commit to the assault and take out our dragon. Wait, I got the shades, but it winds up being mostly traditional with the green skin.
Alright, let's see if we live the dream here. No, it's not that. Not the Metal Blade. No Crash Bomb.
Buster does not go back-to-back this seed. But looks like Quick Boomerang is going to be the answer for this seed.
Alright, so we know one of them. That's definitely a W for CrebleStar there. into Wily 2 at, let's say, 2340, just as a reference point, so we can say, alright, we know where each runner is at this point.
Ari is not too far behind, about to go face his fight against the dragon as well. Taking a little bit of a pop from the Pac-Man Ghost Bats. So the question is he gonna find Quick Boomerang as fast as, well, probably not as fast, because he's also gonna stick with the second page for weakness hunting, but it still stands to see if you're gonna find Quick Boomerang as fast as Creble, or is it gonna find that second weakness equally as fast?
Alright, well, it looks like Arispici trying to find that weakness. And speaking of weaknesses, we have Creble trying just about everything under the sun, and it looks like Charged Heat was the wall weakness answer as Arispici gets it done.
So our runner's about half a stage between each other. CrebleStar is past the checkpoint. Gotta deal with these Joes yet again. Trying to shortcut, trying to find a vertical weapon to prevent that one particular armor from blocking the pathway. Once again, give a little bit of time to Ari.
Ooh. Oh, found the leaf shield, so he's out of there. Evicted.
But it took a little time for Creble to find that leaf shield to prevent that, to get that roadblock away.
Yeah, that is very true. You know, a lot of it's going to come down to, you know, what will allow Arispici to come back in this game. At the beginning of this stage, it was about 1 minute 15 seconds, I believe. 23:40 for Creble, 24:55 for Arispici. And small little things like that will make the difference. Oh, Creble found... That's the heat shooter, but my god, that ammo consumption.
Yeah, the amount of damage that it was doing for heat, which normally would be a one-shot with something like that, definitely not what you want. Meanwhile, Leaf Shield, we could be in full lazy mode.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. Leaf Shield doing some work. Arispici, you know, foregoing the knowledge, but it looks like finding something that's getting it done. Air shooter, possibly?
Nah, that'll look Quick Boomerang, especially with the weapon consumption. Unfortunately, thanks to the random sprites, we can hardly tell. It's basically black on black, but it's definitely Quick Boomerang, and I definitely agree with this. If you can't find Leaf Shooter, a high ammo number count like a Quick Boomerang, definitely a go-to if you can't find anything quick enough, as Ari has skillfully displayed. So once again, our runner's about half a stage between each other, but while it's stage 3, it's still a relatively short stage. So the lead that CrebleStar has might be a little shorter than it may appear.
Yeah, this is one of those times where objects in the mirror may be closer than they appear. So, you know, we'll look at what time we got when CrebleStar and Arispici start Wily 4, you know, take down the tank and move on to the next stage. This stage in itself is probably about 1.5 minutes, and I'm going to speculate that Arispici caught a little bit of an advantage in the Wily 2 as he didn't stop for the wall weakness where CrebleStar did.
CrebleStar finding the Metal Blades is one of our weaknesses for the Guts tank. Definitely a good one to use, especially if you go full tilt and do a damage race for the Guts tank. Meanwhile, we're going to see if Ari can find a similar weakness just as fast and try to keep pace with Creble.
Alright, so let's call it 28:15 for CrebleStar. And Arispici is looking to get out before 29, so definitely closing the gap. And it looks like, yeah, just getting in there with the metal blade. Alright. So, 28-15 to 28-29. So, definitely a good chunk of that lead has now evaporated. So, 28-55. So, 40 seconds now? 30?
CrebleStar barely getting enough energy out that item 3 for the vertical wrap to ignore any kind of situation dealing with those fake platforms and those spikes. So CrebleStar trying to extend the relatively small advantage that he currently has and trying to force this game 3 between him and Arispici.
Yeah, this is definitely close, and it looks like the anxiety rooms are, you know, Dr. Cossack cleared the place out and, you know, have a little vacancy here as, nobody's home in the anxiety room, so this is pretty much free.
Yep, full on rest stop. Nothing hindering our runners from going through what could be some dangerous situations if the enemy randomization allowed it, but the C wanted to give them a break. Probably felt a little bit pity for that heat man as a bit of an apology.
Yeah, very true. Oh, this is kind of yikes. Yeah, just kind of have to grin and bear it on that one. These tin cans are just, ugh. Yikes.
Alright, so we got CrebleStar, our first runner into the moving fight. Checking to see if our potential god weaknesses can do the deed and not have to worry about destroying any of the crash walls, but looks like that is not the case. And yet with the knowledge of the atomic fire being our wall weaknesses, all that's left now is to find out what is that pesky other weakness for the boobing turrets.
Got it. The bubble again, it looks like.
Yep, back-to-back bubble weaknesses for the boobies, it seems. But now both our runners are in the boobing fight, but CrebleStar already had the information about the wall weaknesses while Ari is just forcing to dig. Yeah, he doesn't have the help. Oh no. Ari getting greedy yet again. He had 4 E-tanks to his name. He should have used 1. Once again, some of the greed of our players wound up biting them in the buttocks.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the points where I know we discussed it earlier with the Heatman stage, where it's early in the game. At this point, you've got, you know, maybe you need one for the refights, maybe you need one for the Wily machine, but do you really need more than 2 E-tanks? Using one there wouldn't have changed much of anything, in my opinion, but, you know, there's a reason why the runners are, you know, fighting for the loser being 4th place, and I'm always in the commentary booth.
So right now, Ari with basically a huge dent in their run, pretty much now got to go through the full second half of Waller Stage 4, and even though our quote-unquote anxiety rooms are not really anxiety-inducing, that is still a full half stage well into the boobing fight that Arispici lost and pretty much gave back to CrebleStar, who's at this point halfway done with our Robot Master boss rush. Just gotta take care of this heat man. And yep, three more to go, and everything is almost wrapped in a bow, neatly tight for CrebleStar to give them this game 2 and pretty much give all of us a game 3.
Yeah, little does CrebleStar know, but most of us do, you know, being able to see both runners at the same time. Now, Kreble just has to, you know, keep it clean and, you know, get through this last Robot Master, finish off the machine, and make their way through Victory Road, and we're looking at a Game 3 here. This is definitely on Kreble to have some kind of catastrophic failure for Arispici to have much of a chance to get this game.
Well, we got our Cossack machine sighting. It's not weak to the buster, so the weapon dig begins. It looks like Bubble for the first phase. The arc is not the best, but close range is still very spammable, and you can still do the... Ooh.
Uh-oh. You know, little, bodied by the machine, as it looks like Arispici actually got by Crashman there.
A little bit of spaghetti towards the end, but CrebleStar a little bit in a better position to afford that spaghetti, and Bubbles being the answer to all life's problems, taking care of both phases of the Wily machine, and as you so eloquently put, CrebleStar onward to Victory Road, one alien standing between him and forcing our very exciting Game 3 between two very intense runners.
Yeah, this, even from a commentary standpoint, this is a game where I just want to, alright, I need a break, give me a minute or two, and then, I am going to, come back for Game 3 and just go, okay, whatever happened at Heatman, just, alright, gone, forgotten, Game 3 is a new game, and let's get to it. At this point, CrebleStar's on the alien, Arispici about halfway through the fight. Oh wow, he found Metal Blade straight away, so that'll do it.
Yep, that's GG's for CrebleStar, finishing with an official time of 35 minutes 31 seconds, forcing a Game 3 between our two runners. So we're going the full distance this night, well, at least night on the States. Wherever you may be, morning, afternoon, regardless, we're still getting the Game 3.
Well, if we're lucky, it'll end up being tomorrow morning by the time this is all said and done. It's 11:20 right now for me, so if we get this, Arispici has all the right in the world to finish out this seed, so Kreble's able to, just get up, take a walk, and Arispici just absolutely refusing to use these E-Tanks. It's got a full complement of 4 of them. And I've seen 3 deaths now that are just fully being caused by not using the E-Tanks.
Yeah, hopefully Ari can get out of that mentality from Game 3 and actually use the E-Tanks when they should feel proper.
Well, he used one there right at the start of the machine, but I think that was more out of just reminding himself that, oh wait, yeah, I have these E-Tanks, I can use one.
Alright, so we got Ari going to try and finish this thing off. We know that the Wily alien is going to be weak to Metal Blades. We're going to just see how quickly he's capable of finding it and trying to finish this seed on a high note.
Yeah, this is just one of those that I think, CrebleStar won it, but I think both runners are just ready to put this one behind them and say, okay, that was a seed, alright, I'm ready to move on. Just one of those things where you just, alright, gone, forgotten, and, move on.
Looks like he almost went through the full complement of page 1, finally going to page 2 and find the Metal Blades, and there we go. Ari finishing with a official race.gg time of 38 minutes and 8 seconds. As we mentioned, CrebleStar wound up turning the corner. It took a little bit of several rough bumps, especially in the Heatman stage, but Kreble did turn the corner and force that Game 3.
Yeah, this was, you know, I never want to, you know, try to detract from a runner's accomplishment, but this was definitely one of those times where, you know, you win ugly, so to say. Both runners did make mistakes. Both runners, you know, got through it all. At the end of the day, CrebleStar can go, all right, I'm still in this. I won. It wasn't the prettiest, but if I actually, you know, deliver on game 3 a clean run, may the best man win.
And we're about to find out who that best man is going to be as we're about to get set up for game 3. It shouldn't take too long, but once again, sit back, hang tight, and we'll be back shortly with maybe the conclusion. We don't know, but we're gonna find out. Race 3 coming up in a moment. And we're back at it once again. Your boy LV Creed here alongside Frico, bringing to you our Mega Man 2 Randomizer Tournament for 2024 for Speedgaming Live. As we just witnessed, CrebleStar holding it together in spite of Heatman shenanigans and wound up taking Game 2 from Ari, forcing the Game 3. So right now, it's pretty much gonna be up in the air between our two runners to see who's gonna make that final top 4 spot, to see who's gonna be facing against Casual Tom in the loser semis. But at this point, considering what the C's been throwing against our runners, it's anyone's guess. Frico, how you're thinking about it? Because this is nuts to me.
Well, nuts is pretty much my speciality. Arispici able to keep it together in Game 1, but it looks like, in Game 2, everything, like you said, came apart in that Heatman stage, a little bit more so for Arispici than CrebleStar, as it looks like our timer's counting down for the runners, and we are off to start Game 3. It looks like we got Airman and CrebleStar didn't like what they saw at the start. They're going for Airman. No, pump fake. So, not taking Airman. So it looks like, what do we got there? Quickman.
Yeah, CrebleStar taking an unfortunate detour to the password screen, forcing that first reset before resetting on Airman. But finding a relatively more simpler stage in Quickman, which is definitely a stage you'll like to find as soon as possible, if anything, for the E-Tank that it has in the stage. Both our runners are seasoned Mega Man 2 runners, so this stage should not be that much issue unless the enemy randomization says otherwise.
Yeah, this is definitely, if I had the benefit of knowing where the stages were, I would seek this stage out. Quick and Flash are definitely the two stages that if I had a choice, I would be trying to do those first. Very simple, fairly straightforward. Airman, on the other hand, could be a little problematic from time to time, so, not exactly on my early stage list, but Arispici's showing, why he's, in the semi-final of the tournament here, getting it done and getting to that boss door.
Yeah, not with crabs in there withstanding lovely, but yep, our first runner into the first boss room where we got Bubble Man lying in wait. A little bit of a durable boss, but nothing too special about him. Yep, pretty much taken care of in relatively short order. Meanwhile, Trouble finds our Kangaroo Jack Quickman in his Vanilla Spy, and with Vanilla Buster soft weakness, once again, no issues. But none of our runners finding items being randomized within our 8 Robot Masters. We have not found one yet in our early going, so both our runners continuing on to their next stage. Bubble Man on CrebleStar's end, while Ari's doing Flash.
Alright, so with that in mind, it looks like we will have, pretty good knowledge of where the items are or are not at this point. If Ari and CrebleStar miss on items, then at least one item, not to say that it's item 1, but one of the items will be at least gated behind Crashman and Heatman, guaranteed, as we'll have 4 stages and 3 items left to find.
We'll start making use of that Buster Zip, making short work of the halfway point of Bubble Man stage. Hopefully it doesn't get too jump happy, as we've seen even in this race, kind of jumping the gun on the jump trigger and getting hit by the spikes. But CrebleStar is almost to their boss room. Meanwhile, we got Ari taking care of Crash is looking rather stupid, standing there being picked off, but the uneven terrain giving a little bit of pause for Ari, but still winds up winning the damage race. Crashman done, Flashman stays down. No items still though.
Alright, so here we're gonna see on CrebleStar as he finishes off Metal Man. We're really hoping for an item here. Oh, Arispici into Metal Man stage. Alright, there is an item. So there is a world that exists where Crashman and Heatman may have all their items available to those stages, and we saw just last game the difference between having items and not for CrebleStar in navigating the Heatman stage.
This Heatman not being any better. Ari just getting literally surrounded by Puro bots in M445 as in blocking. This is just a cluster of very annoying enemies in this stage. I'm surprised Ari has not dug into his weapon kit. He has 2 weapons. At least could have tried to find one to make this stage a little bit more comfortable, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah, make this enemy set a little bit more palatable. I think Arispici was in just a bad spot where if he touches the enemy, he'll die, and if he didn't have the ability to avoid the enemy but also get down onto the block, so we see him have to navigate this a second time, which, ugh. Somebody quick, call Nintendo, tell them to take their enemies back.
Deja vu and not of the best kind.
No, but not at all. Oh boy.
But at least these prop tops are one shot. But Ari still does not have any items to make this stage any faster. Meanwhile, we got Airman sighting in Metal Man's room. Creble wisely taking the juice box to try to survive the fight. Crash is doing some damage.
No.
But yeah, as Frico was reacting to, Heatman once again causing fits for Ari as getting sniped by a prop top.
Oh, the energy refill was right there, too. And the prop top just went, nope! Oh, that was just awful. Oh, you hate to see it.
CrebleStar taking care of Airman and Metal Man stage. Feels like Batch 2 all over again. Creble is taking advantage of Arispici's bad luck in Heatman stage. Going to Woodman stage, a robot master up, but Creble still has to deal with this Heatman. But it looks like item 3 was found in Metal Man stage. So Creble has pretty much all that's needed to get by Heatman stage relatively unscathed, especially since the checkpoint area did not have prop tops to potentially cause issues.
Yeah, the best possible situation here for Arispici is item 1 being behind Heatman, just so it can't be found and used by CrebleStar to gain any more of an advantage. And there it is.
Yep, vanilla item 1 in Heatman stage. So there's a little bit of a happy tune going around in Ari's head as he finds a little bit of something to help navigate through some of these stages if things go a little bit further awry. But currently, we got Ari going to familiar territory in Bubbleman stage, while CrebleStar is attempting good wood and kind of cuts short the jump. Can he make it bump to the ladder? Oh, the goodwill failed. That's a lot. That's a significant amount of time that CrebleStar lost, pausing a little bit too soon and not getting the full zip distance to make it to that ladder to continue on with Goodwood. He's gonna try it again, but that Goodwood miss will sting.
That's unfortunate. You hate to see it, but both runners right now with something to hang on their belt is going, okay, I made this mistake, and now I'm behind, so now I have to take another risk to kind of make up for it, so to say, as CrebleStar pulls off the good wood that time. So Arispici, at the boss store, CrebleStar at the boss store, and both runners have 3 Robot Masters down, so, essentially at the halfway point for our Robot Masters.
Yeah, as both our runners took care of their respective Robot Masters, it stands to point that it was fortunate that CrebleStar did have a life to give to go for a second attempt at Goodwood. Definitely missing in the chat. Shout out to the casual time for the catch, because if CrebleStar did not have an extra life, that would have been a game over, an automatic game over. He went for Goodwood again, or he would have had to go to the top of the treehouse in order to survive the rest of Woodman stage. But as mentioned before, it was fortunate that CrebleStar did have that said life to give and finish off Goodwood and was able to complete that stage. Meanwhile, Ari's going through Quickman that we already saw on Kreble's end. So let's return to Kreble as Kreble does go through Crashman stage, which is new territory for us.
Yeah, not even trying the zip, so, gonna lose a little bit here. I don't think the item 2 will be enough, but I could be proven wrong, and I just was, so... what do I know?
Item 2 is still a makeshift platform, definitely good enough to skip some of these moving platform rooms. Of course, you'll prefer to have Item 1, but Item 2 is definitely a good secondary if you know how to utilize it properly, as CrebleStar has.
Yeah, I thought this would actually be one of the points where Kreble would lose a little bit of time with the lack of the Item 1. So this is CrebleStar just using the tools that he has available to him and, really getting it done. Oh, as he's got to try to find something to get rid of this Joe. Alright, got it.
Yeah, I'll take the E-Tank. You definitely could not take another body hit. Meanwhile, Ari's taking down Kangaroo Jack here. Very easy fight. That's Robot Master down.
Yeah, so it's 5-4, but definitely, different Robot Masters left to go, as CrebleStar is about to finish Heatman if they tie it up at 5-5. Arispici going into Meadow Man, which is a stage that Kreble already has completed.
And the Item 1 is looking very good, extremely good. Ari making use of that Item 1, once again, trying to make sure to get any kind of advantage as possible. Item 1 being our sole variant of randomness with 4 on 3 items. Item 1 being a very big help for Ari getting that metal zip. Meanwhile, we got Jackie Chan sighted here in a Crashman's room, our different Sprite Flash, who pretty much goes down in an instant, giving no kind of resistance.
Yeah, he's out of there. So now it's, it is still 5-5, but looking at what's left, I want to give a little bit of an advantage to Arispici here. Because aside from Flashman, it's Heatman and Airman for CrebleStar, whereas we have Woodman and Crashman for Arispici. So, even though Arispici is technically ahead, it's not great.
I'm kind of big to differ on the advantage, because right now you got to remember Arispici did Heatman relatively raw. CrebleStar has the ability to make Heatman very much shorter, since he has Item 2, Item 3 at his disposal. So he can skip pretty much the entire section, the entire second half of Heatman, which gives Kreble a little bit more of an advantage. So it's a little bit of a coin flip right now. Ari still has Crash to take. Crash to take care of, but has the ability to make that short. And CrebleStar has heat that, but has the ability to make that short. So it's good. So right now, I'm gonna say it's a coin flip. But if I was to make a guess on who the advantage goes to, I'll probably say it would be Crabble.
All right, well, I guess we'll see who's right at the end of it all, because Arispici's about to get to the point where he could attempt Goodwood here. And CrebleStar is about to finish off that Robot Master, so, you know, still a little bit of a lead. Arispici checking it, you know, doing a little scouting, and it looks like he's going to go for the zip. As CrebleStar is going to have to navigate a Heatman stage that was pretty rough at the start.
But unlike Ari, who didn't check his weapons, he's pretty much using whatever he has at his disposal. I kind of wish he would have stuck with that crash, because this was a cluster of a stage with all these enemies. You can see by the sprite flickering that the game is having a hard time trying to keep up. Meanwhile, Ari's going to the top of the treehouse.
Yeah, he tried Goodwood, but he messed it up, just like CrebleStar did. But unlike CrebleStar, Arispici checked his lives, and there was a big nada going on there. So, you know, no benefit of a second, you know, crack at it for Arispici as he picks up a 1-up there at the end of the treehouse.
CrebleStar again being up by the prototypes that played them back in base 1, but fortunately finds that the enemy set in the checkpoint is far kinder than it was in the first, has a clear setup for the item 3, and successfully makes the zip, and with item 2 in tow, gonna ignore these Yoku blocks, and pretty much should have a free fly towards the end of the stage.
Yeah, picks up the extra guy as well, so it's definitely a dubious lead, to say the least, as Arispici into the boss door, CrebleStar about to enter into the boss door here, so it's gonna be down to execution, and it looks like Arispici's taking advantage of a woodman that just kinda happened to be along for the ride.
And here we go. The thing that's been plaguing Ari throughout this entire match. I'm pretty sure he's going to attempt to zip for the first screen of Crash, but he does have item 1. I think for Ari's sake, I think it would be wise to just do the item 1 variant, and he does. So this is already, if he sets this up correctly, and now the situation kind of twists itself. Thanks to this very friendly item 1, Ari doesn't have to go for that Buster variant of the Crash Zip, and now winds up skipping a whole bunch of Crash stage, and now I can almost clearly say that Ari now has a bit of an advantage now.
Yeah, you know, it does come down to execution, and these Metal Crushers are stopping Kreble from just using item 2 to, it's not really a zip, but just kind of using the item to get through as quick as possible. At the end of the day, this is game 3 of a race, so, you know, every chance you get, you want to, you know, go fast. So, CrebleStar, unfortunately not able to do that. Arispici got bodied by the Mecha Joe. And the game over. Oh no.
And I saw something that's gonna make me flip again. He had one E-Tank at his disposal that he refused to use. And it winds up sending him back so far. I don't think holding that E-Tank at that point was worth it.
No, and now the bats are just, you know, causing all kinds of havoc here for Arispici, as he's going to take another death.
And you can see the frustration on the screen.
Yeah, you can see it, and it's just, you know, it's just one of those woulda, coulda, shoulda moments where, you know,
Yeah,
so
I
unfortunate.
don't, yeah, I don't want to repeat kind of like an obvious phrase, but it's one of those things that you hate to see because Ari pretty much had a decent advantage, but he got a little overconfident on a very damaging enemy. Sniper Joe tanks are not something to take lightly here. So taking that E tank definitely should have been at the top of Ari's safety list. And not taking it winds up costing him huge. And this is not even taking into account that there was gonna be another E tank at the end of the climb that he could have taken afterwards. So it's the decision making that wound up and could potentially cost Ari not only this match, but his survival in the tournament.
Yeah, it's just so tough because it's one of those where you know the stage, you've gone through it how many times now, and you know there's that E-tank up there, so it's not like, okay, well, I'm only on one E-tank, I've got to use it sparingly, but the E-tank's right up at the next screen, so just one of those where it's just like, oh my god. That just so raging. I think it's honestly some, carryover from the match before or excuse me, the game in this match before, where Arispici had 4 E-tanks and we saw him take 3 deaths just solely because he refused to use the E-tanks.
So yeah, a dragon is supposed to be happening right now. We're just gonna ignore it. We're not even gonna have time to guess.
Oh,
But
come on,
yeah,
rapid fire it. Rapid fire it.
no,
Yellow swagging in the bubble.
You can go ahead and take it, but yeah, not to discredit CrebleStar, as we got a gray Oast Dragon here. CrebleStar has pretty much been doing all he's been needing to survive what could have been a very rough
Metal
situation.
Blade done.
Yeah, and that was really close to kissing the dragon. We do not like kissing the dragon here. But CrebleStar able to maintain distance, use the metal blades as one of our potential weaknesses, and getting out of Wally Stage 1, starting Wally Stage 2.
Yeah, Arispici just got through and able to get out of the Robot Masters and into, what was that, Dr. Cossack's castle again?
Yep, Dr. Cossack making a return appearance, not willing to let go to the castle, pretty much got attached to it.
Alright, but here we go. We got CrebleStar in Wily 2. I believe he knows what the wall weakness is already. He popped it in, what was it, Flashman or Quickman? It was one of those, the ones that have the crash wall. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank here.
Don't worry about it. Once again, I missed it as well. Multitasking is a bit of a hard thing at times, but we'll see CrebleStar use it once we get to the booming turns, assuming it's not the turrets themselves aren't a god weakness, and you can ignore the walls accordingly.
Yeah, I guess that is possible. It's always true. It could be something like that. But either way, Kreble does know the weakness, as Arispici unfortunate placement with the item 1. So it looks like he's gonna have to, pause buffer his way back, and you can see him shake his head at this point. So he knows it. I think he can tell everything's just kind of unraveling right before him, as it looks like an invisible Pico block has gotten away from Kreble. But the good thing is he found the Buster as the effective weapon.
Yeah, he was trying to be a little clever using the explosion of the crash bombs, since the crash bombs were also one-shotting the individual units, but the explosion duration really didn't justify using it. It was fortunate that CrebleStar happened to stumble upon the crash bombs quick enough. Meanwhile, Ari also finding crash bombs as our second weakness for the dragon. So it looked like it was metal blazing crash bombs that were susceptible for dragon killing this day.
Yeah, definitely the case is CrebleStar starting Wily 3, or Species starting Wily 2, and looks like taking the power up for the unfriendly skies of Wily 2, the spikes below. Not something you want to inspect as Mega Man, or Roll, or, well, anyone, really.
CrebleStar pretty much doing the same thing in Wally 3, using Item 2 to try to navigate through the very questionable waters of Wally Stage 3. Able to have the enemy set be kind enough to allow said fly. And now it's about to go to our Guts tank. Gonna go with the Buster, see if Buster is gonna be our weakness of choice this time around.
Alright, whatever weapon Creble was using that looks like a giant white blob is the wall weakness for the crash walls. Not the bubble lead that he's using now that's taking Gutsman down.
Then I'm gonna assume that was metal, because I think that was one of the... Yeah, definitely metal. Because that's our white blob right there. But that also takes away a god weakness for the booming turrets themselves, since you definitely would like to have the Metal Blades to ignore those walls. But once again, it's the knowledge that you attain that still is useful regardless of losing out on a very good weakness.
Yeah, that is true. So, you know, what we have here is, you know, just getting through to the end of the game. It's just a matter of survival. We've seen, you know, the nerves kick in, and, you know, mistakes that I think on, you know, the average day that both runners I don't think would make. But, you know, I don't want to say it's, you know, it's too big of a scene for them, but maybe? I don't know. But Arispici's into Wily 3 as CrebleStar is gonna take a dive into our anxiety rooms, and we'll see nothing. Nobody home. Wow.
Cossack yet again, pretty much just leaving the door open for our runners. Just say, welcome in, walk in. Well, let's see what this next screen shows. Maybe actually put some kind of resistance here. Never mind.
Ay.
Unleash the welcome mat and just allow breaking and entry.
Well, at this point, it's, you know, pretty much a free ride for Creble through what could be a very treacherous area. Probably a bit of an apology for how rough this Heatman stage has been. And a bat getting in the way, disguised as a Pac-Man ghost. But it looks like Arispici taking down the Guts tank. So we've got Creble with the knowledge of the wall weakness, and there it is, Metal Blade.
So it's taking them in short order, but now the question is, is any of the other god weaknesses available? No, it's Quit Boomerang this time.
Alright, so good on Creble there. He's out of there. So into the boss refights as Arispici just starts Wily 4. So we've got a race on our hands. It's game 3 right now, and Arispici's got to find some way to mount a comeback as CrebleStar into the refights.
I guess the big question right now is, what is CrebleStar's E-Tank count? CrebleStar, that has been pretty much one of the main storylines E-Tank usage between our runners, storing them, using them early, not using them at all, managing them throughout the entirety of the stage, the entirety of the match. Right now, we don't know, or at least I don't remember seeing CrebleStar's E-Tank count. If there's a situation where the E-Tank is very low for Creble and a wallet machine winds up being a worst case scenario with its weaknesses, that could be probably one of the few and only ways that Ari can catch up from a deficit this big.
Well, we do know Ari has at least an E-Tank working. I believe he at some point had 2 and chose to use one, so I know he has one unless he snuck another one in on me. Now it looked like I saw 1 there for Arispici.
CrebleStar about halfway, or if not flat out more than halfway done with the refis.
Oh, no.
Wound up taking a little bit of damage, getting killed by Woodman, but still very much ahead. 3 Robot Masters remaining, including this Woodman. Gonna need a little bit more than that for Ari to potentially catch up, as Ari is still kind of struggling to find weaknesses for either the walls or the turrets themselves.
Okay, so I got a good look there. It's 2 for Arispici. So here's where it comes down to CrebleStar. You know, he may need last Robot Master. Okay, he does have 1 E-Tank left, so you know, this is gonna have to be a really rough fight here.
And our last Robot Master is indeed Kangaroo Jack. And he winds up using the E-Tank right then and there, so that is big news right here. If the Wallet Machine winds up being a bit of a pain for Creble, this could cause a little bit of suspense between our runners.
Very much so. Oh boy. So let's see. Charged heat? Oh, found something. Alright, charged heat here on the... looks like he's opting away from that just from, oh, Crash Bomb. Alright, that's a little more palatable to... Alright.
Yep, does more damage, but he's not in a good spot in terms of health. And Crash Bomb did not good for the second phase. I don't know if he can take 1 extra hit.
Oh no. Oh.
Everyone, we may have a situation here. He's gonna fill up on Crash Bombs for the first phase of this fight, but he's gonna need to find that second phase weakness fast. Cause if Ari's able to catch up on the Robot Masters rematches, is it Quick Boomerang? Oh, he finds Quick Boomerang. And he does out damage the Wild Machine.
That was so close, as CrebleStar now dropping down into Victory Road, and Arispici, I believe, 3 Robot Masters in at this point. But this is going to come down to a potential situation like we saw in Game 1, where Arispici was ahead. Oh, Creble, no. Don't even put your hands in the zip. Don't even... you overzip this, and... oh, boy.
He overzipped!
Oh, no. Well, the good thing is he's going to be able to take a death here.
But it's almost just like giving Ari every single potential situation to give him a bit of a comeback. But it looks like, yep, CrebleStar's gonna go at it again. Being the situation as it is, it's still gonna keep going for it.
Oh my.
He does make it in.
Ay, ay, ay. Alright, he got it this time. So, Arispici at the machine. CrebleStar dancing with danger and dining with death there. As, you know, maybe a little too much risk, but, did he just... No. Oh, he did find it. Is that the Buster?
That's the Buster.
Oh my. And that's what it's gonna come down to. Oh. Wow. Well done, my friend CrebleStar. Well done. Through all the trials and tribulations, you, I believe, have won Game 3 and will win this match 2-1.
Yep, official racetime.gg time of 33 minutes and 27 seconds. CrebleStar officially makes top 4 and will be facing off against Casual Tom in loser semis. As we do have a CrebleStar sighting in the Discord, CrebleStar, let's get it right off the bat. How you feeling about these 3 relatively interesting seeds?
About the final result, the road going there, not that sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just get the elephant out of the room right now. Heatman, and Heatman.
Yeah.
Just talk us through it, because the Heatman stage was pretty much the star of all 3 seeds.
Yeah, there was. I mean, the earlier ones, the 2 first ones, oh man, like, they gave me so much trouble. Like, there was so much sprite flickering and, like, so much slowdown. Like, you don't know where you're going. And, yeah, man, and, yeah, just trying to get that zip on the, I think, what was it, the first or the second seed?
I believe it was the first.
Yeah, I think that was the first one. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, if I would have timed it correctly, I would have probably got it correctly, but I don't know. I messed up. Things happened. But
Well,
yeah, I mean, other than that, man, I mean, last seed was pretty good. I'm gonna be honest. I just, other than missing my zips, like, other than that, like, those were my major mistakes.
And we have Ari into the Discord. Very admirable attempt, but as you had just as much, unfortunately, more so issues with the seeds compared to Creble, and unfortunately, we will have to say goodbye to you. I have to admit, you were one of the more entertaining runners going through the entirety of the losers bracket, but as with Creble, Heatman, the big roadblock that stage.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, congratulations, my friend. If there was anybody else I wanted to go up against the freaking monolith right now, that is Casual Tom, I'm happy to pass that torch off to you.
Thank you so much. Very appreciated, man. Yeah, it was.
Man.
I knew it was going to be a pleasure racing Arispici tonight. I mean, we would go back from a couple of years back then.
Yeah, a couple of years back then. I mean, you're the guy who got me into the community, even introduced me to the tournament and everything. Like, I was a nothing human being before I got into the Mega Man community, and you're the one who introduced me to it. So, yeah.
There we go.
And look at me now. You know,
look at you now.
I'm entertaining. I'm out of the tournament, but I'm still entertaining.
There you go. Well, you still went pretty far, man.
You know, it is what it is. Like, tournament play is not my game. It's staring an opponent, one to one right in the face and getting after them. That's where I thrive. Apparently, I don't know. How are you doing? How's everybody doing tonight?
But yeah, other than that, yeah, I mean, the first 2 Cs, man, they were not the best. Let's just say it like that, to put it in kind words.
Oh, no, I would say the first 2 were not very fun. Like, I had my struggles in the third one, honestly. I only got mad in the third seed because of the freaking Buster Immune gear adjusters, and I just...
Oh, yeah.
Don't like... my brain doesn't go to changing weapons throughout the stages.
Yeah, I had to
Apparently.
switch to Crash Bomb for those guys.
Oh, that would be really tough too, because that crash bomb took up so much energy too. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
even
that's
in
true.
Wily, that'd be kind of tough. I didn't have to deal with that because I just try to just run through them like a madman through iron, like the Juggernaut or something like that. But you know, at the end of the day, like I came into the night wanting to have fun
There we
because I'm
go.
playing against such a dear friend of mine here in CrebleStar. Like, you know, I talked about it a little bit before we started on stream. Like, you know, you're probably the best friend I have in the content creation community. Like, you know, I came across you randomly when I was starting to do this stuff so many years ago, and you know, found my way into this community like as a whole because of interacting with you and hanging out with you and Iraq Vet and Guy Next Door. So I came out tonight to have some fun, win or lose, and unfortunately I lost, but I still had a lot of fun. In fact, I had a lot of fun with it, actually.
There you go. I mean, that's the main goal for me, having fun in those tournaments, man. And that's and then thanks again for those kind words, by the way, man. Very, very appreciated. And yeah, man, you always kick ass in the Mega Man community, good dude. Continue to do it, dude. That's all I gotta say.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, you know, whether or not I've been having good luck in the tournament and everything, but when the title's on the line, now that's where I really shine. But you'll have to wait until clearly post tournament for that. But, hey, I will say I was not only excited to be able to race such a good friend of mine tonight, but the fact that the last race that we had, I think, was in the Dream Races back in maybe late 2022.
Yeah.
And like it was like one off race, and it was like a 0.3 second difference.
That's
between
true.
that.
That's true.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, so like I knew this was gonna be close. I knew it was gonna be fun, so I wanted to come out and have fun with it, man. Like, yeet!
There we go. Hype.
You know, I would have more questions to ask than this, but these are some extremely good vibes. I do not want to break these good vibes.
No, please, please.
Oh, I mean,
Drill them
Yeah.
in, drill them in, because like I like there's a couple things that I was going through this entire like run that I'm like, why isn't this
Yeah.
working?
Well, speaking of wise, E-tank usage. What happened?
I'm just not very good at using E-tanks. I'm like, I live in the moment. That's just me. Like, sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to use this, and other times I'm just like, no, we're just gonna let it ride. Like, I don't care if I finish this fight like split second. But yeah, I mean, of course, there was a couple of missteps I had because of that. The thing that really got me on the runs through this was the Buster only crash zip.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I spent so much time doing that in both first and second seed. Like, what happened? I don't understand, because I know how to do it, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, we have your picture on the stream feed here. The frustration was there's obviously apparent, and we've been seeing each other do these kinds of things, so we both know that you're capable of doing that zip resist. It's just something about doing that jump trigger that just wasn't seeming to mesh for some reason, and it didn't set things good on the path to victory, unfortunately.
Well, you know, on the first seed, I thought it might have been lag because there were so many gear adjusters and like there was sprite lag and things like that. So like I'm like, all right, you know what? I spent a lot of time on this, but maybe I understand why it wasn't working this time. On the second seed, I have no freaking clue. I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm just gonna do the freaking fade normal. I don't care anymore. So maybe if anybody out there who has some insights or maybe wants to go through that Buster only zip again and like maybe give me some pointers, I'd be happy for that. Like if I was doing something wrong or tell me exactly how to do it. Maybe I've been doing it differently the entire time and just lucking out. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
That's something I actually have to learn. That Buster only zip. It's pretty cool.
I mean, it's like there's two ways to do it. Like, there's one that you drop off the ladder and you clip into the thing, and it kind of just zips you. And then the one that I do is like the easier quote-unquote one, but apparently not as easy as I thought. I don't know. Whatever. It don't matter. Like, at the end of the day, like, I had a lot of fun tonight, and I am disappointed that I'm not going to go up against Casual Tom and get destroyed, but I give that opportunity to you, Treble.
There you go. Well, at least you got the first match, man. I mean,
and honestly, I felt like I shouldn't have, but
I mean, the first seed got me good. I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, I tripped up there. I tripped up in all the seeds tonight, so that's on me. Like, I can easily pull like a sub 30, like if I'm not messing up, but there are some extenuating circumstances that I don't want to go into, and like it sounds like excuses, so I need to. There's a couple things I need to work on. That's all I gotta say.
There we go. That's a good thinking right there.
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, I had a blast, man. I miss interacting and hanging out and talking to you. I think it's been almost a year since we've even had a general conversation. Like,
yeah, that's true.
But I digress. I'm sure the commentators still have a couple things they want to throw out there before we close this out.
Well, I personally don't. I'm pretty much got all that I need to get out of it. Frika, do you have anything of note that you want to get out before we begin the shutting down of the whole shindig?
I know nothing.
That means we're pretty much done with everything.
but let me ask you a question, Frico. Do you feel me?
Yes, I do. I think, in all honesty, you could look this race back, and I think there are lessons to be learned from this one. And I really feel that's probably where we should leave things. This is definitely a learning experience.
As I think most are, even in wins.
That's true.
As I sometimes say, the grind is always eternal. There's always stuff you can learn. Even if you think you know most, there's still a few others, and even more so that you can still learn. So, yeah, that's pretty much a good way to see it and call it. So, with that thought in mind, once again, we'd like to thank our runners, CrebleStar and Arispici, for a very entertaining match going through the distance. But the day shows CrebleStar to be victorious, as he will be going up against Casual Tom in our loser semis. And Arispici, we will be saying goodbye to you, but once again, very well raced to the both of you, and we hope to continue to see if we continue doing randomizer tournament events.
I mean, of course I'm going to be doing randomizer tournament events, Creed. Come on, man.
That's the spirit.
But I will say,
I figured I'd have to ping you and twist your arm and, try to, get you to join and everything. Oh my.
Well, I mean, I can dial back a little bit. Like, I don't mind you twisting my arm, Frico. Like, anytime. Like, you can pull me into something crazy, like a Zelda randomizer or something, if you really wanted to. Like,
oh no.
You say the word, man. Like, I'll try it. But I digress. I mean, listen. I'm going to tell the folks right here, right now, you'll probably see me before the end of the tournament. Like, I'll probably jump in for commentary coming into the next couple runs or the grand finals at the very least, because, this is what I love to do. And as your undisputed Mega Man 2 Intercontinental Champion, that doesn't carry so much weight right now because I've been beaten down. But for those who are interested now, I'm pretty vulnerable, clearly. Come at me, bros. And or lasses. Because I'm looking for a new challenger. And there might be something in the works pretty soon to determine the #1 contender for this title.
Yeah,
All right.
Tayo.
Oh, let me grab this so it can be shown on the screen. But as you guys close it out.
And with that, we should go ahead and begin closing this out. So once again, thanks to Speedgaming for allowing us to showcase this randomizer in tournament fashion once again. Continue to stay tuned to the Speedgaming family of channels as the tournament is slowly coming to a close. Once again, we do have our loser semis between CrebleStar and Casual Tom 82, which yet to be scheduled. We will have that for you whenever it will get set up and we get it posted up on Speedgaming. And after that, we will have losers finals between the winner of that match and Charlie Boy, who will eventually be going up against Satoko Addict for the grand finals. So we got only a handful of races and matches to go before the conclusion. So I would like for you to stick to these channels and continue to watch all the Mega Man 2 Randomizer tournament action as the end nears. So, of course, once again, thanks to the Mega Man 2 Randomizer community as a whole, Duckfist being the starter and the creator of this randomizer before leaving it to the community, where we have our current model display for you to enjoy for entertainment. And of course, to one of our unsung heroes, 2% Chungus, our tracker extraordinaire. Shout outs for him to be available to ease the load off of our commentating shoulders. And speaking of which, shout outs to Frico, my co-commentator, for assisting me in these endeavors.
Yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't have it any other way, now would we?
Well, of course we wouldn't. And with that, this is your boy LV Cree. We'll be signing off until the next time, where, as I said before, the end is nigh. Stay tuned, keep watch, and we'll come back soon. Take care, everyone.